Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, and now here I am with another review of a sequel to the films I had in last year's Top 10 Live Action Movie Countdown. Alright, and now here I am with a review for Homeward Bound 2, Lost in San Francisco. Alright, so yeah, as usual, my review for the first Homeward Bound will be down in the description if you want to watch it. Alright. And yeah, this was the sequel that I really did want to talk about. Like, this film is really like the main reason why I decided to also like review the sequels to the films that I had in last year's countdown that had sequels anyway. And so because yeah, this was just a film that like I said last year when I reviewed Honey I Shrunk the Kids, like those were films I wanted to cover for a while, and these were another one. Like I really had wanted to go over both Homeward Bound films for quite a while. And so, yeah, but I just kept it last year to just reviewing the first one rather than reviewing both of them. But yeah, thankfully now I can finally talk about this film. And, yeah, personally, I actually did like this film. I mean, I did think that this was a pretty good sequel. I mean, maybe this sequel really didn't, really need to be made. I mean, the first film really was just is just great on its own, and really after how the first film ended with Chance basically saying that he finally had a home and a family, there probably wasn't really any reason to do a sequel to the first film. But yeah, what they managed to do with the sequel, since they did decide to make it, I think they actually did a pretty decent job with this. Yeah, I mean, it's not really as great as the first film. I mean, it's really not nearly as good as the first film was, but I actually really do like this film, and I do think it is a pretty good sequel. Well, and so, this film, it didn't really do, nearly as well as the first film did, but, I mean, I still did enjoy it, and I think, it still has, gotten some of a following. I mean, for what they were able to do with this, I think they actually did it pretty good. I mean, yeah, the premise for this film, it's basically it is very similar to the first film. It's how Shadow, Chance, and Sassy, they get lost again, and they just have to find their way home. But it is also like the story overall, it is a little different too, because in this film, rather than actually being lost in the wilderness and have to find their way home, in this film they're just lost in the city. Yeah, and so yeah, they basically just have to journey through the city to find their way home. So yeah, they do it a little bit differently than in the first film. And since this is also in a populated city and not really in the wilderness where there's not really much really just nothing really around at all, they have a lot more to interact with. There are a bunch of other people around, and they also come across other dogs and stuff. So yeah, they do. Shadow, Chance, and Sassy, the first film was really more it really was just mostly just them in the film. While we did see other humans, the family and stuff, they really, Shadow, Chance, and Sassy, they don't really have a lot to really interact with in the first film. And here they get a lot more. They are around a lot more humans in the city. They're around other dogs. So yeah, we do get to see at least there's more stuff for Shadow, Chance, and Sassy to interact with. So yeah, I do like how it does try to do it a little bit differently from the first film and have it take place in a populated city. So I do like how they do that. And yeah, you still really have just about the entire cast from the original movie returning. You still have Michael J. Fox voicing Chance and Sally Field voicing Sassy. Yeah, the only character that they had to recast was a Shadow, because uh, Don Amek, is that how it said? Yeah, he ended up passing away, after they did the first film. So, yeah, in this film, a Shadow is voiced by a Ralph Waite, is that how it's said? And, yeah, it's actually a pretty good replacement. Ralph Waite does actually sound a lot like Don Amek. Watching this film growing up, I mean, I really, couldn't even tell that it was a different voice actor. I mean, maybe it does, he does sound a little bit different, but it still does sound pretty close. So yeah, it's a good replacement. Yeah, and also the human cast, we still do have the entire cast who played the family in the first film returning. earning as well. Like we have Robert Hayes, Kim Greist, Ben Thal, Veronica Lauren, and Kevin Chavalia. Yeah, they all like reprise their roles at the family. And yeah, since this film does take place about a couple of years after the first film, like uh, Peter, Hope, and Jamie have like grown up a little bit, and so yeah, we do like see them like older in this film. But yeah, though the family in this film, they really don't have like that much screen time in this. Like in the first film, like there were like several times where it actually like did like cut back to the family at points in the film. In this film, we really don't see like that much of them. There's probably like two or three cuts back to them in this movie while they're away from the animals. So yeah, we don't really see like as much of them, I think, as we did in the first film. So yeah, the family's roles are like cut down in this film. And also in this film, we do have two dog nappers in this film who end up like kidnapping stray dogs and basically taking them to like another type of dangerous place. This place like a dog lab, I guess it's called. Oh, so yeah. And yeah, and still like in this film, just like in the first, Jane still has some fear of the pound, but in this film, rather than actually referring to it as the pound, Jane just refers to it in this film as just the bad place. So, yeah, I guess it's just because Chance really doesn't want any memories of the pound and he just doesn't want to actually say the word anymore. So instead, he just refers to it as the bad place. So, yeah. And yeah, I guess like this film, it is like more lighthearted than the first film was. Like this film doesn't really seem to take as much chances as the first film did. Like in the first film, there were like a lot of, well, like several dark moments and stuff. Like there was the scene where Sassy ends up like getting swept into the river, and there were also like some scenes where they like encountered some wild animals, and including like that part where Shadow ends up like falling like down like a well down to the ground and stuff. Like he falls a long way to the ground and stuff. Still, yeah, we had a lot of scenes like that in this film. Well, the first film. And this film, we really don't really get really any scenes like that. This film is probably like a lot more lighthearted and stuff. I think this film probably like took the same kind of a turn like that Honey I Blew Up the Kid did after Honey I Shrunk the Kids. It probably just got like some complaint from parents, probably saying that it just like was a little too dark, and so yeah, they decided to like go down the more lighthearted approach with this film. So yeah, it is like a more lighthearted film, and we really don't see like the dark stuff that we saw in the first film. But for what they had to do, like for a more lighthearted film, and considering that they probably didn't have much to do with this film, considering they probably really didn't know what to do, and they probably just wanted to kind of like do a similar thing with the first one, but take a different route on it. I think they did a pretty good job with it, and I really did enjoy this film. I don't know if like this is really the popular view of it, because like since like this film really didn't do nearly as well, so I don't really know like really what other people have thought about this, because I really haven't like looked up reviews from other people for this movie and really see how they felt about it, whether they like it or not. And well, yeah, and comparing it to the first film, they're probably going to say it's not as good because, yeah, it's not. But as its own thing, I really do think it is a pretty good film, and that's my view on it. So I do enjoy this film. And yeah, in this film, like Chance also like we get the like romance between Chance and the female dog Delilah, and so yeah, we do get like I said earlier, we do have like more dogs in this film. Like we have the gang with Riley, and like we have like a bunch of other dogs like a Delilah and Bando and Stokey and all them. So yeah, we do have like a lot more dogs for like Chance, Shadow, and Sassy to interact with in this. So yeah, I do like that we do get to see like more dogs, and they meet more dogs, and it's a much more populated film than the first film was. So I do like it. There are a lot of things about this film that I really do like. So yeah, I would say that this film, while like didn't do as well as the first one, I think it still did turn out like pretty good. So I would give this film probably a 3 stars out of 4. I mean, it is an enjoyable film. I mean, as a more light-hearted turn than from the first film, and like just like for what they were able to do with this and what they tried to do, I think it turned out like a pretty good film overall. Okay, so yeah, let me just get right into it. So like I said, the film takes place a couple of years after the events of the first film, and yeah, it has like the same opening narration from Chance, and Chance has just said like the couple of years that have passed have been the best years of his life, and yeah, the family is preparing to like go on like a camping trip up in Canada, and they're taking Chance, Shadow, and Sassy with them. And yeah, it's shown that as this film starts, it shows that Jamie, he's kind of like going through like kind of a well, I really don't know, but he's kind of like going through that stage growing up where he's kind of like more ill-tempered than he was before. And so yeah, as this film starts off, it's shown that Jamie really does not really want to play with Chance very much anymore, and stuff. And yeah, it does take a little bit for this film to get going. Like, it doesn't really like actually like really go anywhere until like probably like after probably the first 30 minutes. I mean, yeah, for the first 30 minutes, it's basically just like really like setting up to like Shadow, Chance, and Sassy going on their adventures in this film. So yeah, the first 30 minutes is just kind of like filler stuff, really just like preparing us for that, just showing like how Jamie really is not really playing with Chance anymore, and just stuff like that. And something that I thought was like funny about this film was like Jamie now is in a little league, and as he's like at his baseball practice, Chance follows him there, and there are like other dogs there, and as the team is practicing, there are like these three other dogs that are voiced by Al Michaels, Tommy Lasorda, and Bob Euchre, and even like their names as dogs are like still like references to the real old people like Sparky Michaels, Lucky Lasorda, and Trixie Euchre. So I thought that was kind of funny for them to do. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, as the family then was like heading off to the airport for their flight at San Francisco International Airport, like they were placing a Shadow, Chance, and Sassy in kennel cages to be put in the cargo on the plane. And yeah, Chance just felt like really like nervous about it because he just felt like well, he really didn't like cages because it did kind of remind him of the bad place. And then as they were being taken off, like Chance just felt that they were like being taken to the bad place. And then as they were being taken to the cargo load on the plane, like Chance ended up like seeing like some like worker at the airport, but after the way they were dressed, like Chance thought that they were workers for the bad place and that they were going to take him there, and so then like, and he just felt that Jamie was just so mad at him that he was going to send him back, and so then yeah, Chance ended up like breaking free from his cage, and then he ran back to the terminal, and Shadow and Sassy like went after Chance, and when they arrived back at the terminal, and of course like the family wasn't there, and so then they went back and like they were trying to like get the plane that the family was on to stop for them, but yeah, as they were chasing after the plane, they ended up like taking off without them, and so then they ended up like being chased by airport security, and they ended up escaping in kind of a similar way that they escaped the shelter in the first film, how they were like had to crawl under a fence, and yeah, it even had like Chance getting stuck again. Yeah, and they ended up escaping the security, and then they found that they were lost again, and then yeah, Shadow then like just told them that they were gonna have to find their way back home. And later on, after the family had arrived in Canada, they got word that the animals got loose in San Francisco, and so then they decided that they had to go back to find the animals. So yeah, and yeah, we really don't see like that much of the family after this. Like there's like a one scene with them like in their hotel room for the night, and the dad is like just talking with like a animal detective or something, or just like yeah, basically like shelters or something. Just yeah, people like that, the animal workers, and yeah, they were just told that they had like a 1 in 10 chance of finding the animals in the city, considering everything that could happen. So yeah, the Shadow, Chance, and Sassy really aren't. They're not as put into as much risk as they were in the first film. So yeah, them being in the city, it's really not as dangerous as when they were in the wilderness. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, we really do not see like a whole lot of the family in this film. Yeah, and then yeah, with Shadow, Chance, and Sassy, then like they just knew how far away they were from home and that they were just lost in the city. But yeah, Shadow remembered that they did end up passing the Golden Gate Bridge. So yeah, that was the way that they had to go to get home. But they had to find the bridge first. And then they eventually ended up coming across two alley dogs, Ashcan and Pete. And And yeah, they were of course like just had really bad attitudes, and they saw Sassy and like they were just basically like threatening to eat Sassy. But then Shadow ended up fighting off Ashcan as Chance was just toying around with Pete, and as that was going on, then Riley and his gang ended up like in, interceding, and just ended up uh, just helping Shadow and Sassy, and Chance ended up fleeing off. And then Sinbad, who was voiced by us. I mean, yeah, Sinbad ended up was the voice of Riley, and Delilah was voiced by Carla Gugino. So yeah, and yeah, they just like ended up sending Ashcan and Pete off, and then they were just telling Shadow and Sassy that the city really is not a place for pets. And after like they realized that Chance had run off, then uh, they then sent Delilah to run after Chance in a light alley, and then yeah, Delilah was chasing after Chance, and she eventually ended up catching him, and yeah, she was just telling Chance that really just his friends had sent him after them, and yeah, as time goes on, like they ended up falling in love with each other. Yeah, and it really wasn't like something where like they really didn't like each other at first, but as time goes on, they see more to each other and fall in love. Like how it usually is with Disney films. It wasn't like that. Like they really did like each other right away, but then as time goes on, they like became closer to each other and they fell in love. So interesting to see it like kind of done differently than the way it usually does it. Yeah, and eventually like the dogs, as they were searching for Chance, Riley's gang, along with Shadow and Sassy, they ended up seeing a van driving by, which was referred to them as the Blood Red Van, who were driven by those two dog napping goons, Ralph and Jack. And then, yeah, as they were hiding from them, and Riley explained to uh, Shadow that they ended up catching dogs and selling them to this dog lab. Yep. And then yeah, and then after the van had passed, then Shadow was just telling Riley that they need to pass the Golden Gate Bridge to get home, but Riley just told him that he couldn't like take them to the bridge since like it meant cars and it meant humans. And yeah, Riley really does not trust humans because of like what happened with him, which Delilah would explain later on, which I'll talk about in a minute. Yeah, he just yeah, because of like his distrust in humans, he just refused to take Shadow and Sassy there. So then, yeah, they just decided that they would have to look for it themselves. And then yeah, we just see more with Delilah and Chance, and basically just walking through the park and stuff. And then when they came across humans, Chance was explaining to Delilah how great humans are, and was like starting to tell her about Jamie. And then yeah, Delilah then just told Chance that when Riley was a puppy, he thought that he had a home with humans, and then it showed like Riley as a puppy, and he was like being given to a boy as a Christmas gift. But the boy really didn't seem to really have any interest in Riley at all, and it really didn't seem like he even wanted a dog. So I question why parents would actually like get a dog for their kid if the kid really didn't seem to really have any interest in dogs. That's something I've always wondered. But yeah, and then as a result of that, Riley just ended up like being abandoned in the rain, and then yeah, Delilah explained that after that, Riley then ended up making a home for other dogs to protect them from humans. Well, yeah, abandoned dogs that were protected from humans. Yeah, 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 and then Chance was then just like showing Delilah how great humans can really be, and he took her on a walk in the city. And eventually, like, it was just like showing Delilah how great humans can really be. And and then later on, Shadow and Sassy ended up like seeing a house on fire that was the home of a boy that they had met earlier named Tucker. And so then, after hearing that Tucker was inside, yeah, Shadow went in after Tucker, and Sassy also went in with him. And yeah, Shadow ended up saving Tucker and bringing him out, and Sassy ended up recovering Tucker's cat, Tiger. So yeah, and then after Delilah, Riley and his gang were around and they saw what Shadow did, and they just saw like how uh, courageous Shadow could really be, and so he ended up uh, letting them come back to their um, hideout with them. Yeah, basically just telling them that they can stay until they find Chance. And once they got back to the hideout, they saw that James and Delilah were already there, and like they really were not like happy with it at first. Just and Riley just couldn't believe that Delilah was with a pet, and yeah, then yeah, Chance and Delilah were just upset about it, and then they left. And then later on, yeah, so Chance was just like just being just playing around. Like Shadow was then just like trying to explain to Delilah that Chance really is not cut out for that lifestyle that she has and how everything's a game to him. And Delilah was basically just telling Shadow that she would be able to take care of him. And then yeah, then the blood red van then appeared again, and the dogs all like hid back inside, but Chance was still out there. And then yeah, Ralph and Jack ended up capturing Chance, and they loaded him up, and then yeah, the and like the rest of the gang, along with Shadow and Sassy, tried to save Chance, and then they ended up just stopping the van by just like lining up right in front of the van, and then yeah, eventually like Jack and Ralph then just ended up trying to flee from it, but the dogs all just basically cornered them, and then yeah, they then just started to attack Jack and Ralph, and then yeah, Sassy eventually ended up freeing Chance and the other dogs that were captured and stuff, and then yeah, they ended up reversing the van, and just basically it fell right into the river. And then after what happened, then Delilah then just basically was telling Chance that really that just she feels that Shadow and Riley were right, and just her and Chance really aren't meant for each other. And yeah, Chance of course was just like crushed by that, and so yeah, he ended up just storming off. And of course Delilah felt bad about it, and yeah, Chance then just just walked off, and like that night, like the entire gang was trying to search for Chance, but they had no luck. And yeah, but yeah, Riley also told us Shadow earlier on that because of what Shadow did at the fire, if Riley agreed to take them to the bridge if their humans really mean that much to them. And so then yeah, that night after like nobody could find Chance, then Riley just told Shadow and Sassy that they would have to go to the bridge right now, and they would be there by sunrise. And so then yeah, they ended up like Riley ended up taking them to the bridge. And then, yeah, they then said goodbye to Riley and were then starting to journey again. But then, like, before they were actually able to cross the bridge, they then got ambushed by Ashcan and Pete again. And, yeah, Shadow was fighting with Ashcan again. But then, yeah, Chance ended up appearing again. And, yeah, he ended up then just luring Ashcan and Pete into a trap and ended up just fighting them off. And I think yeah, Chance then revealed to them that he was trailing them since they left Riley's, and so then yeah, they ended up crossing the bridge, and and yeah, then the family was then like driving back home as well, and then yeah, as they were like just this like still journeying home, like Chance was still right in the road, and yeah, he was just like still just so crushed that he was going to be leaving without Delilah, and showed that the family was just like right behind a truck, and yeah, the truck then was just like driving right in the direction Chance was in, and so then yeah, and since Chance was right in the road, of course like he was going to get hit, and so then yeah, the truck driver then just slammed on the brakes and yeah, made the family like brake also, and then yeah, it just like showed like the brakes were like screeching, and it like just showed the truck was still moving towards Chance, but we didn't actually see anything that happened. Like it cut away before we actually did see anything with like Chance getting hit or anything. And then yeah, then the family then saw like Shadow and Sassy, and so then yeah, Shadow and Sassy then reunited with Peter and Hope. But then when they were trying to look for Chance, then the dad was talking to the trucker, and the trucker was just telling him why he stopped like that because of Chance being in the road, and he just told the dad that just the rigs on his truck don't stop quick enough for situations like that. And then, yeah, the dad then like told Jamie that, and then yeah, Jamie then just looked under the truck, and it showed that Chance was fine, and the truck didn't hit him at all. And then yeah, Chance then reunited with Jamie, and Chance was happy about that. And then sometime later on, I don't know if it was later that day or if it was another day or what it was, but yeah, it showed that Chance was then like still upset about Delilah, and as Jamie was trying to play with him, Chance just was not doing anything, just like totally crushed, not wanting to do anything. But then eventually, then it showed then Delilah then appearing, and then yeah, Chance and Delilah were reunited with each other, and then yeah, the family then saw it and just saw like how happy Chance was to see Delilah, and yeah, then Chance then just introduced Delilah to Jamie and the rest of the family, and the family all liked Delilah, and so then the dad then decided to let Delilah stay, and Chance was like really happy about that. Chance just jumped up into the air, yeah, and then yeah, this film then just ended with like a pizza arriving for the family, and Chance just got so excited for the pizza, and then he was just like running and jumping all over the pizza guy, and then yeah, Chance then just ended up eventually knocking the pizza out of the guy's hand, and yeah, Chance then just went up the pizza himself and ate it all up, and yeah, Chance then just as he was eating it just said he couldn't think of a happier ending, and that's how it ended. So yeah, I actually really do like this film. As a follow-up to the first film, like I said, while it takes a more lighthearted turn, I really do like what they do with it. I like how they do like try to do a similar thing with the first film, but like make it different, like have it take place in a different setting with a city. And yeah, I do like what they do. I like how Chance, Shadow, and Sassy have more like humans and dogs to interact with in this film rather than how it was in the first film with them just it really being more of them and just them. And yeah, I do like what this film does. So yeah, I actually do enjoy this film, and I have watched it a lot of times growing up, and I probably will still watch it a lot, just like the first one. I mean, I told you I watched the first film a lot growing up, and I did watch this film a lot too, and I'll probably watch both films many more times in the future. I like both films a lot. So yeah, and I really so if you haven't seen this film, I would probably recommend it. I mean, if you'd like to see kind of a different and kind of style, but like with a similar premise of the first film, then yeah, I think you'll get some enjoyment out of this film as well. And it's a real enjoyable film with like the different turn it takes. So yeah, I really do like it, and I would recommend it if you wanna, if you're interested. So yeah, 3 stars out of 4, like I said. So yeah, alright, so that does for my review of Homeward 2 Lost in San Francisco. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I probably will be back a little bit later on to finish off these reviews because I do have one more sequel to cover here in this list. So yeah, I'm not sure how many of you actually do know what it is, because yeah, this probably isn't a sequel a lot of people really would think of, but yeah, if you have any guesses what it is, stay tuned and see if it is what you're expecting. So yeah, stay tuned for my review of the final sequel for these films coming up. Up next, I'll probably have that for you later on tonight. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed this review, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.